Let's look at Jashsoft, a financial portfolio management tool. I'm going to log in with my test account. Once I'm logged in, it's going to tell me to import some transactions so I can get an insight into my portfolio. So I'm going to import, and I have a sample portfolio here. As you can see, it's importing all my transactions that I've exported from my brokerage account. Once all my transactions have been imported, I can go to portfolio. And now it's going to analyze my portfolio and give me actionable insights into all my holdings and my portfolio as a whole. This is the dashboard. I can see my portfolio value along with the change in the value today. I can see the 1-year forecast, which is based on the holdings that I have and their analyst estimates for 1 year. I can see the dividends that I get, which is 1.07% of my portfolio. That's my yield. And I also see that I'm beating the market by 2.94%. On the right, I have the beta gauge. This is based on the beta of all the stock holdings that I have, but it's weight adjusted to the number of shares I hold in each of the companies. Here, I have the top sectors that I hold. It's a pretty well-balanced portfolio, as the pie chart shows that I have a lot of different sectors. I can see the top gainers and top losers in my portfolio. You can see that I've done pretty well on Walmart, Amazon, Visa, etc. And I can also look at the analyst recommendations for these stocks, and looks like all of them are a buy or a strong buy. So there's no hold or sell in my top gainers. So there's no need for attention here. On the top losers, you can see that I made a bad call on PayPal and Dollar General, but all those are hold and buy as well. So there's no sell indicator on the losers. I can also see all my top holdings. I have a big concentration of stock in Walmart, Google, Apple, Meta, and an ETF. And for the stocks, I can also see that all my top holdings are either a buy or a strong buy. If I had a sell rating on my top holdings, that would be an actionable item that I would need to look into. There's geographic exposure here. I'm mostly concentrated in the US based on my holdings. But if I were to add, say, a new transaction, where say I want to buy Alibaba stock, I bought it today and $200, and I bought like 10 shares. And if I were to add this transaction, it would reanalyze my portfolio, and I should have exposure to Asia as well, because Alibaba is a company from mainland China. So it will do detailed analysis on the portfolio as you add transactions. And here you can see I have exposure to Asia as well. On the analyst ratings, you can see that most of them are strong buy, a lot of them are buy, and then 2 of the holdings are hold ratings, which is Comcast and PayPal. Also, most of my asset allocation is toward equities, with just under 2% going to fixed income. Below is a table of all the holdings that I have, along with my gain and loss for each of them. You can also see insight into the current price and the 1-year target price from analyst estimates, and the upside or downside that I have in each of the holdings. Here you can see most of my holdings have a big upside. But if I go down here, United Healthcare actually has a 3% downside in 1 year. So I might want to consider selling my stake in United Healthcare and maybe deploying the capital elsewhere. I can also see something like here where I have a 4% upside on Merck. I might want to reduce my holdings in Merck and maybe deploy the capital to a place like Microsoft, where there's a 46% upside in 1 year. Now let's look at market data. If I go to market data, you can see that I can look at all the different countries in the world, and I can see how they're performing. Looks like the United Kingdom and United States are performing decently well, and the rest are not doing so great. Now let me deselect all of them and maybe just zoom into a few countries. I can do United States and United Kingdom. I can see how they're performing. Or if I want to drill down into Asia, I can do Japan and Hong Kong and see that Japan is doing decent. Hong Kong has been doing pretty bad in the last 30 days. I can also look at sectors. And here you can see that the best performing sector here is healthcare. The worst performing has been technology, which is down almost 9% in the last 30 days. Again, I can deselect different sectors and drill down into what I'm interested in, so maybe technology and maybe healthcare, and I can see how they've diverged over the last month. Finally is commodities. Same thing as with other market data. You can see all the commodities. I can hover and focus on just gold or silver, or platinum or palladium or copper. Also, probably I can do comparisons between, say, silver and gold. And you can see how they're performing here. And then on the top, I can see their performance over the last day. So this has been a look at Jashsoft.